What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome back to another edition of Heart of the City. We back. The dynamic dude. It's your boy NYG Double Deuce with Coach Ed Gladney from Coach Ed's Amazing World of Sports. And tonight, New York News, Mike Brown, Knickerbocker fans. Got y'all new coach. Y'all got y'all new coach, man. We're going to dive into that, man. Mike Brown spoke to the media. We're going to check that out. Yankees going through it again. Here we go. With these players, these players that get these contracts and they come over here and underperform. We're going to talk about DJ LeMahieu. Juan Soto for the Mets didn't make the All-Star game. What? Yeah, Juan Soto ain't make it. Mets fans are mad. It is what it is. We're going to get into all that and more right after the intro, man. Y'all hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and we'll be right back. Let's get it.
Ricey K, the Raisin Man.
Man. Let's get into it, man. Let's get into it, Coach, man. What's good with you, man? How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling good, man. Just, grinding as always, man. Just always one step closer to getting better. 1% better than yesterday. That's just the ultimate goal. So how about you? How you doing?
I'm maintaining. It's been a lot of rain in the area. So been staying
rain.
indoors.
It's a beautiful thing. Rain is a beautiful thing, man.
I don't mind rain. Rain helped me sleep, so I'm all for some rain. Bring on the rain. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be in dreamland.
Rain takes me back to the 90s. I start thinking about SWV and music. And,
yeah, there you go.
I mean, come on, man. Nah, I get it, though. I get it. Man, plus it's cooling it down because it has been hot, so.
Absolutely. It has been hot, and it has been hot in the city. It has been hot in the city. Like I said, I mentioned Mike Brown thing. We're going to get into that here in just a second, but the Knicks got a head coach, and look, expectations are going to be there. I want us to set expectations here on this show for the New York Knicks with their new head coach. We're going to talk about it. The Yankees. You know how I get about these Yankees.
Mm-hmm.
And here we go again. Y'all been getting beat up on, by everybody and anybody in the East. And, now you out here with Seattle right now, 9-6 Yankees, top 7th. But it is the Seattle Mariners, and they are a pretty good team. So we'll see if the Yankees can hold on in the Bronx. But it has not been good for the New York Yankees.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about it. Juan Soto, the damn near $1 billion man. He ain't make the All-Star game. Was it a snub? Should he have deserved it? Oh no. I don't know. We're gonna touch on a couple Jets, Giants, news and notes. Eli Manning said, "Nah, I'm good." We're gonna talk about it. You know what I'm saying? And of course the Jets, you know, they've been quiet. Surprisingly quiet. But what is the expectations for this team? I want to touch on a little bit of that. And all that and more. And Coach's Corner is going to be loaded. I'm not even going to tease it. That's how crazy it's about to be. But you know how we do, man. We got to walk the block. We got to walk up the block. We got to go around the corner. We got to get on the train, get off the train, catch a bus. We got to go around the city, man. We got to go around the city and touch on these teams and see what the heck is going on in NYC. Y'all hit that like button, man. Let's get it. My producer, Pat, on the controls tonight. Let's go, man. Hit it, baby.
Back first. I want the power, but I want the love and respect first. Said I want the power, but I want the love and respect first. Yeah, I want the power, but I want the love and respect first. Yeah, I want the power, the love and respect first. I want the power, but I want the love and respect first. Said I want the power, but I want the love and respect first. Yeah, I want the power, but I want the love and respect first. Yeah, I want the power, the love and respect first.
All right. Let's go. Let's get into it, man. As I mentioned, Mr. DJ LeMahieu, man, I see y'all in the chat. What's good? Big Blue in the Bronx. What's good? Daniel Berry Sports. Let's talk. Let's get into it, man. So, yo, these Yankees. Alex, you already know. You already know, man. The goddamn Yankees, man. So, DJ LeMahieu, got DFA designated for assignment, and he's owed $15 million for the next season. And it says the move comes even as LeMahieu is owed $15 million for next season, the balance of $15 million salary for 2025. In essence, that means the Yankees are eating almost $22 million in exchange for getting LeMahieu off of the roster. This season, the 36-year-old is batting .266, 333 and 333 with a 91 OPS. 2 home runs in 45 games. Most of his time spent at second base. Second base is where Jazz, I believe Jazz plays second. So, I mean, look, LeMahieu, I get it. He don't really got no place on this roster. But the Yankees always do this. You always get these guys late in their career, and you get backed into a bunch of money. Now they penny pinching now. This ain't the old regime with the Steinburners. Yeah, it was like, whatever, man. Pay them, man. Get them up out of here. These guys wanna try to penny pinch, and they get screwed in the end. Now look what you're doing. And not only that, but you're playing bad baseball. You playing bad baseball. So you can't even justify a lot of this stuff anymore. Because y'all not winning. Y'all not winning. The Mets, Toronto, Boston, whoever been busting y'all ass. And now you keep these contract things keep popping up. What happened to the farm system? Talk to me, Yankee fans. What happened to the farm system? Yeah, we get a couple come through. Ben Rice, nice. You know, Jason Dominguez, the Martian, nice. But again, a lot of times these guys come in and they end up getting traded for Giancarlo Stantons and DJ LeMahieu's and all these other players that ain't doing a goddamn thing for this squad. I'm on it. This heart of the city, man. Unpopular opinion sports. Coach, how you feel about this situation?
I mean, you knew LeMahieu eventually was going to he's going to run into a situation like this, you know, because of his contract originally, you know, because on the back end, being older, you know, yes, you had to do what you had to do in the intro, but this is the risk you take later during the career of that contract. But I get it, but here's the thing that I don't like. You said it, NYJ. You said they're penny pinching, but yet and still you're going to eat $22 million?
Right.
How are you going to penny pinch, but then you're going to throw away $22 million? How are you not going to go out there and get the top free agents like old, but now you're going to throw away $22 million like this? Make it make sense, someone. Please make it make sense, because for me, it just doesn't. Now, I'm not saying LeMahieu is all that. His production is terrible. But again, that's the risk you take when you sign these contracts. On the back end, you know you're going to possibly run into situations where production is going to reduce. So why sign the contract in the first place? But now here, you're going to just throw away $22 million, eating $15 million next year. And then for me, I don't want to be hearing, oh, well, you know, we don't have money. You're just throwing away $15 million. That's money that you could use on somebody else, if to be brutally honest. So if you're going to throw that money away, come out of your pockets and do whatever you're supposed to do to get this team back into championship contention. Real championship contention, not just playoff and all this penny ante stuff. It's about the rings, period. Case closed. It's about going for number 28. This is the New York Yankees. This is New York City, heart of the city. Mr. Steinbrenner, Cashman, get your heads out of your hind parts and do what you got to do. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, man, Coach. I'm telling you, man. I get tired of this team. Y'all know I come on here, man, and the Yankees is one of those teams that I got high expectations for, you know? Mm-hmm. I know the Giants suck. I know the Nets suck. You know? I know the Jets. The Knicks, yeah, they suck too. Mets. But the New York Yankees is the one team in this city that I have the highest expectations for. You know why? Because of that. So yeah, when y'all don't win and you do these type of little weird moves, penny pinching and signing these players, and then, you know, oh, we gotta move on because we don't want to pay the money, but we're gonna pay some of the money, but not all of the money. And stop it. So yeah, it's BS. It's straight BS. Let's take a look at the Mets. Let's see what the Mets got going on. Your man's Juan Soto. He mad. Him said he got snubbed from the All-Star game. All right. Let's see what was said here before I go in. So Pete Alonso, Francisco Lindor, and Edwin Diaz will be headed to the All-Star game. By the way, 3 Mets made it: Alonso, Diaz, and Lindor. And then for the Yankees, it was Jazz Chisholm, Max Fried, and Aaron Judge. And shout out to Max Fried, man. Been pitching excellent, man. He's really held it down in absence of the Garrett Cole injury. So got to give credit where credit is due. But let's get into Soto here. So he says, sometimes you're going to make it and sometimes you don't. Sometimes you feel like a nut. Sometimes you don't. It's just part of baseball. Right, Juan. Look, that man disappointed. Why are you looking mad, bro? You got like how many $1 million? Huh? Almost $1 billion? Yeah, I'm not gonna be looking like that. I'm gonna be like this. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, he mad he ain't make the All-Star game. So Soto signed a 15-year, $765 million contract to join the Mets. He's slashing .263, .396, and .508 with 21 home runs and a 3.7 WAR so far. So Miami Marlins Cal Stores, Diamondbacks Corbin Carroll, Francisco Tatis Jr., who is nice, I know that name, and Washington's James Wood. They all made it over Soto. So articles basically saying that you know, Stowers has a lower WAR 1.7 mark this year, and he is the Miami's lone representative. So basically, folks, the argument here is that baseball and some of these aficionados, they're upset because baseball has a rule where one person from every team has to make the All-Star game. There's some bad teams in baseball. Sorry, White Sox fans, Rockies fans, whoosh. But they get an All-Star. They all get at least one. So that's the argument that the article is trying to make. But chat, coach, talk to me. Does Juan Soto have a gripe here? You know, I laid it out as best I could. Does he have a gripe? Should he have made the All-Star game? And to be honest with you, is he living up to a $765 million god dang on contract? Talk to me. Let's get it. Hit the light.
As far as living up to the contract, no. And it said it initially. He started slow and he's starting to pick up. And you expect because you're starting to pick up that you should get in? No. You said it best, Soto. He'll improve. That's where you should. That's what you should focus on. The second half of this season and then going into next year. That's what your focus should be on. Now, my question is this. They're talking about him. Who else got snubbed? Because as far as the rule is the rule. That has been in place for how long? I get it. People don't like the rule. I really don't like the rule, but I understand the rule, and it's been in place for the longest while. If players don't like it, then you should be negotiating to get that rule out. But baseball feels that they don't want to lose fans from all teams, because if a team doesn't have anybody in the All-Star game, the thought is that fan base might not support the All-Star game. But if the team is bad, the fans are already not supporting it for the most part. But as far as the rule, as far as Soto, who else got snubbed? Because is he the only one that got snubbed? And looking at his stat line, I'm saying to myself, nah, bro, you don't deserve to be in. You might have been picking up now, but you don't deserve to be in. And it's not because he left the Yankees. Facts are facts. And that's the way I look at it. I'm looking at his stat line across the spectrum. Yes, he's starting to improve. And you're talking about a half a year. And in this sense, that you're starting to improve, maybe it's a quarter of a year. So you want to make an All-Star game based off of a quarter of a year. Sir, I understand. I understand your accolades. I understand what you've done in the past. But no, to me, it doesn't work like that. You know what? Use this as motivation to, like you said, improve yourself, be hungry, and help your team win. Help your team win. Because being at an All-Star game, if you go on to win the World Series, is that All-Star game really that important? No, it's not. No, it's not. So, like you said the right thing. Maybe it's for the media and the general public. Hopefully you are speaking true. You're going to improve and better yourself, and that's for the benefit of the organization. But getting upset about an All-Star game and you haven't even produced, nah, I'm not.
Yeah, man. 765, bro. Like, this dude got paid a lot of money. 15 years. The security in baseball is crazy, coach.
Mm-hmm.
You get B. That's like damn near a quarter of your life. Depending on how long you live, but shit, 15 years, bro.
Listen, that's
at least over. That's well over half of a normal athlete's career. Don't know athletes play no 30 years, really. So you talking about a 15-year contract. You good money. Like, that's crazy. Think about that. We don't talk about this enough. But again, I'm on Popular Opinion Sports. I don't give a damn what you think. But what I do care is about opening up conversations. So let's talk about it. Is baseball contracts too long compared to the NFL, where you go through more punishment, more pain? Even the NBA don't get those kind of contracts.
I'm going to say this. You are really strangleholding yourself because you're signed for 15 years. NBA, NFL, tops 5 years, and then you can get a new contract. So again, think about it. I mean, 15 years, 765. Okay, all right, and hey, that's secure. But in the NBA, you know, you're seeing the money. Some, you know, what did SGA just sign for? Think about it. Do the numbers. He signed for what? 280 something, I think, or 260 something over 5 years. So multiply that by 3, and you tell me who's making more money if they were to go 15 years. But as the contracts also, here's the other thing: the money keeps growing. So after 5 years, they have another opportunity to 5 years, 285. Thank you. So after, you gotta go ahead.
You gotta think too. He's gonna be on a decline in his career, so he ain't gonna necessarily get that type of money over each contract. You feel me?
But what I'm saying is, it like SGA, that next contract, maybe he makes 5 years and makes 350. Who's to say he doesn't get 400? The money is growing in basketball, so that's what I'm saying.
How you know he won't get less though?
No, I'm not. You're right about that. It goes both ways. But what I'm saying is, the opportunity to make the more money is based on a shorter contract. If you're looking at 15 years and the security, yeah, you're right. You're right. But just a few years ago, we wasn't thinking about anybody making 285 over 5 years. That's what I'm getting at.
Now, here's the thing, though. Baseball. Think about it. Baseball. It's not like the NFL and the NBA. You see what I'm saying? So I'm thinking too, okay, you might not be getting that much of a spike in TV revenue like the NFL and the NBA do. I don't know. Somebody maybe can research that. But I'm just thinking
here's the deal.
Off rip.
Soto's average is $51 million. You got guys in the NBA making $71 million. This is what I'm getting at. You're making the average is more in basketball and in football. Baseball, the longer contracts, they want the longer contracts because they know this. Because we just talked about LeMahieu on the back end of his career, but he's getting paid the money. He already has the money. So that's where they want that long contract, because they know on the back end they're not going to have the opportunity. Where in basketball, yes, but the average in basketball is increasing. So the opportunity to make more money is there in basketball and going into football. But it's a shorter period of time. See, that's what we're looking at. We're looking at, it's a shorter period of time, blah, blah, blah. What's the average of each contract? What's the average? That's the bottom line. Now, if you want to say, well, because they're locked in for 15 years, all right, that's good, okay. But that's why I'm saying the next contract to SGA, and what's to say? Remember, these guys also, after 3 years, can also renegotiate for a new supermax because the money is increasing. So, I mean, because think about it, like with the Knicks, with Mikal Bridges, he can wait to get more money, or he can do whatever he needs to do now to get money. Karl Anthony Towns, I mean, we're seeing this across the league. Guys are renegotiating after 3 years and getting more money because the averages are increasing. So that's what I look at. I look at the average, and the opportunity is there to make more money in a shorter period of time in the long run.
Think about Ohtani, though. He deferred most of his contract money.
It's still the same thing. It's the amount of years. So you're looking at the dollar amount. I'm looking at the average. What are they averaging? Because if you're telling me 71 million in the NBA versus 51 million in baseball, the opportunity, and they can renegotiate faster than you can in baseball. Baseball, you're locked in.
You know what that is? That's a gamble. Yes. That's betting. That is betting on yourself. And when you bet on yourself, yeah, it work out sometimes. Sometimes it don't work out. Now, again, if you smart with $750 million, if you're not an idiot, you're good. I don't care how much the money goes up or down.
Either way, they're good, NYG. I get what you're saying.
Sometimes they don't though, because see what they do is when they get these contracts, they get 5 years, something $1 million. And this is on the athlete. It's not on the NFL, the league per se. But this is where the athletes have to get better, because you get that 5-year contract, right? And now you have $750 million, or say it's $265 million or $85 million worth of bills. You're living on a 280 or whatever it is per, like say if it's 40 million a year or 50 million a year, you're living on that. You see what I'm saying? You're that's only for that short period of time. So what comes after that is going to be lesser. Can you account for the lesser amount that you're going to get after that?
Lesser.
Because
that's why I'm saying to you, in the NBA, after it's 5 years, you're talking about 5 years, okay? But you can renegotiate after 3. You can then go in and renegotiate based on what the league is doing, and the money keeps growing. Get the
same. You're not going to get that amount though.
Okay.
Not necessarily.
If you look at all these guys, because we sit here and we say it all the time, look at these guys. You're talking about maybe 1 or 2. Yes, you're right. But if you look across the league, the spectrum, they're negotiating because the money is there and they have the opportunity. And don't forget, in the NBA, there is a floor. You have to pay. There's a bottom line. There's a salary cap, but you could also have a floor that you have to spend, so the teams know this. So they're not saving money. Now, SGA 285 over 5 years is what? 285 divided by 5 is $57 million. So his average is more than Juan Soto's. Now, he can also renegotiate after 3 years. And what's to say after 3 years, he's not going to get another $400 million. And then after that, and he's young. Don't forget, he's young. So the opportunity is there. I get what you're saying. Yes, ideally, Yankees won. Ideally, yes, you're saying, after 15 years, 765. Yeah, it's more than 285. So he's set. He's secure. But the opportunity, because for me, I want to bite and I'm betting on myself, and I believe in myself. I want to bite after every year, if possible, every 2 years. I really do. If I think I'm that good. Now, and again, Juan Soto, 15 years, he's going to be into his 30s. I'm not talking about that, but I'm looking at right now, guys 24 to roughly about 27. They had that opportunity to make that money in less amount of time. If we're talking about 700, there's guys making that, and you're seeing career that they're making that money by playing over a shorter period of time. So, but I get what you're saying, because you're saying the 15 years, 765, the 765, you're just looking at that number, and that's saying, okay, he's set no matter what. That's generational wealth. 285 is only for a short period of time. And take 285 and multiply that by 3. If we're gonna do it like that too, he's still making more money in the long run over the same period of time.
Look, I get it, bro. I get it. You know what I'm saying? But even looking right now, based on the NBA, career earnings, LeBron, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, none of these guys made over 750 just in earnings in the league. Now, endorsements, different all that. I know they get above that.
Different era. I get it. That's why I keep saying the contracts, the money is changing at year after year. That's where I'm getting at. Yes, in the beginning, yes, they're over the long term, but they're older too. They're older than Juan Soto. So yes, but now if you go back to when at that point in time when they were first coming in, you said, oh, when LeBron was say 20 years old, he would have a career earning of over whatever he's earned. You're like, oh my goodness, this dude is making money. So I get what you're saying, but what I'm saying is the increase, the opportunity to increase, because yes, it's a matter of, do you want to just have that steady whatever over 15 years, or do you want to have the opportunity after 3 years increase, and then boom, you can probably get more in another 3 years, boom, and increase and get more. That's where I'm looking at, and that's where I get it. Yes, SGA has to ball out if you're going to say 15 years to make that same money per se. But what about the contracts? If the contracts keep increasing, I mean, that's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm looking at.
And what if you have an injury though? You see what I'm saying? And that's something.
Get all that. That's the chance you have to pay. You pay as an athlete. I'm sorry, as an athlete, don't sit here and focus on, oh, I have the chance.
Nah, I believe in myself, but you have to think about it. No, you have to think about it in the context of how you're.
Disagree. I disagree because the way I'm conditioned and many athletes that I've coached and I've talked to and I've trained, if you sit here and you focus on the possibility,
it's not focusing on that.
Okay, the wrong word. If you just think about the possibility, keyword possibility of an injury, then why play? Why play?
Bro, again, you're talking about money. You're talking about you're talking about earning a living. It ain't about just the passion of wanting to play the game and all that shit. You talking about earning a living and your money and your livelihood moving forward.
But you're only
you gotta take everything. I'm taking everything into consideration. I don't give a damn. I'm taking all things into consideration. Yes, I am.
So hold on a minute.
When it comes to me making a living.
No. What I'm saying, if
that's
SGA,
what these athletes are different now.
No, what I'm saying is if SGA, let's just say over 10 years, he was to earn, say, $600 million over 10 years. So 5 years less, he's only making $100 million less. But now he has another within that, say 3 years, he can make up that $100 million. He made it with 2 years less than Juan Soto, the same amount of money. I get what you are saying. I do. I understand. And I understand what you're saying. You're taking a risk. So Juan Soto is secure over 15 years. But if I'm an athlete, the NBA isn't guaranteed. The NBA money isn't guaranteed.
The NBA is, yeah.
Okay, so that's why I'm focused on SGA. I'm not talking about the NFL. So that's why I said SGA. So if over 13 years he earns the same amount of money, who made more money?
Over 15 years, yeah. But the probability of that happening is not likely. I just said and we're gonna move on. But the NBA players, like the chance of you getting there. Now with SGA, the players at the highest level, I get it. But you got
that's what we're talking about.
But you got some players in baseball, bro, that are just regular dudes getting 7, 8, 9, 10-year contracts.
Okay. I'd have to see. The question I would ask is, what is the average salary of both? The average.
We're gonna revisit this conversation for the sake of time constraints.
Yeah,
This is an excellent debate, man, and I think we're both right in some way, shape, or form. You know what I'm saying? Just coming at it from different perspectives. But let's keep it pushing, man. Let's get into a little football here, man. Let's go into our Giants. Going to the New York Giants. I ain't talked Giants much. There ain't been much to talk about. For real. To be honest with you. We talked a little bit about last week about Darren Waller. But Eli Manning, and that's why I love Heart of the City, because we're gonna talk sports, but it ain't all about X's and O's and the stuff on the field. There's a lot going on off the field. Eli Manning said he's no longer interested in buying a piece of the New York Giants. You gotta love Eli, man. I ain't gonna hold you. That's my quarterback. He said, it's too expensive. Y'all too high. It's too high. New York Giants too high. Y'all want too much money. You want too much damn money. Who knew the New York Giants will be asking for too much money for this shitty ass team? Nah, I love the Giants, and it is one of the most valued teams in the NFL, right up there with the Cowboys, Steelers, and a couple other teams. But Eli Manning said, I'm out. I ain't spending my bread on that. Costs too much. Let's take a look and see if we can get a little more context, I should say. Says basically it's too expensive for me. Manning said in an interview. A 1% stake valued at $10 billion. Good googly boogly. For 1%. Manning's comments come as team valuations skyrocket. CNBC's official NFL team valuations published in September, the Giants were valued at $7.85 billion, ranking 4th among the league's 32 teams. Yeah. Too high, says Eli. Coach, what's your thoughts, man? Is it too? First of all, is Eli? Does Eli have a point? Is it too expensive? Or maybe it's too expensive for him. Mm-hmm. We could go that angle. Mm-hmm. And the New York Giants, and I feel like this about the New York Giants sometimes. Y'all be wanting a lot of money for a shitty ass product. Yeah, you win Super Bowls. In the dark, literally. Who knows when you're gonna win one? It could be this year. It could be 10 years from now. I don't know. It's just random as hell. But y'all want a lot for your tickets. You want a lot for your medium Pepsis. You want a lot for 1% stake in your franchise. Y'all ask a lot for a little bit. That's how I'm feeling right now. We ain't getting the results on the field, Mr. Mara. So again, I'm with Eli. It's too hot. Costs too much. Yeah. Maybe I'll go buy the Jaguars. Shit. I don't know. What y'all got though?
I'm looking at what they said. The way that it's skyrocketing. So, what's your return on your investment? If you're telling me in a short period of time, you know the money is skyrocketing, then I'm going to look at, okay, so if I invest, this amount of money next year, my ROI should be XYZ. And if I can have an ROI that's double, if not triple, what I invested after 1 year. But I get it. I can't speak to everybody's pockets. I can't. Eli knows what his pocket and what he can afford to spend. And if it's too much and he doesn't have the people with him to go in, then hey, I agree with you. Don't do it. But this is telling me, and this is all sports, man. The money is there. Now if you want to talk about the product on the field, that's sports, man. I'm sorry, that's a sport. As fans, we say it all the time. I say it with like the Knicks, say it with the Giants. They sell out their games. So is it really the way owners learn is when fans don't come up to the stadium and buy tickets, pay for parking, the concession stand, the merchandising. When you turn off the TV and don't watch the game, then owners hear it because they feel it in their pockets. Because then they're not getting the return on their investment. But if your stadium is always sold out, like you said, people are buying the concession, the merchandising, even for a bad product. What as a businessman, they're saying, well, people are spending their money. If you go to the grocery store, we sit here and we complain about food. The prices of food is too high, but guess what? People still are buying it. So these companies, but if you go out and you find alternate methods, you change your diet or whatever, then companies start to look at it. What can we do to get people to come back in? Cut costs. I mean, whatever it is, cut costs, cut this, cut that. Same thing with the NFL or the NBA, whatever. Because you just said it, the valuation is increasing. So it's just the initial investment. If you don't have the initial investment, you're not going to be able to make the money. As you're seeing, the valuation is going. It's increasing, I'm sorry. So that's how I look at it.
Yeah, man, no doubt. $10
billion, damn.
For 1%, coach. 1%. Y'all out of pocket, man. Y'all out of pocket. But now let's get to the Knicks, man. I want to get to the Knicks.
Boo!
Ain't really
boo the Knicks. Boo the Knicks.
We gotta touch on the major news of the city.
Fire the owner.
And you know what
Fire
that is.
the owner. Fire the owner, please. No, let me stop. I'm joking, everybody. You know that.
Mike Brown, new Knicks head coach. And he had his presser. And our producer Pat is nice enough to have some clips for us so we can react to the Mike Brown presser. That's what I want to do here to wrap up around the city, and then after that we're gonna get in the coach's corner, man. But Mike Brown, who? Mike Brown. Mike Brown. Let's hear what old Mike got to say.
Just kind of wondering for you coming into a team that's reached the conference finals, the expectations you're stepping into.
Well, you know, there's nobody has any bigger expectations, first of all, than I do. I mean, my expectations are high. But I mean, this is the Knicks. I talked about Madison Square Garden being iconic. I love and embrace the expectations that come along with it. So I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. Expectations. Because again, last year, this is a new year, new coach. But we talked about last year what those expectations were for the Knicks. And now you went to the conference finals, one game away from the NBA finals, you fired a coach. There's only one expectation that there should be, and that's to win a championship. So again, last year, your Knicks fans tried to back out of it. You know, I pressed y'all at the beginning of the season, right here on this very show. But hey, What's the expectation? Oh, well, if we make the playoffs and we get to the Eastern Conference Finals, that's a success. Well, it ain't a success because you fired the coach. So now here we back again. Expectations. The expectation should be nothing else than an NBA championship is a failure for the New York Knicks. That's what I'm saying. NYG, you a Knicks fan? No. I'm a content creator. I cover the team in a sense right here on Heart of the City. Hit the goddamn like button. But there should be no expectation other than winning the championship, because why did you fire Tom Thibodeau and you got you to the Eastern Conference Finals? Because y'all wanted to go to the NBA Finals and win a chip, right? Okay, cool. Bam, boom. Put Mike Brown in. Mike Brown. Who? Mike Brown. Look, I ain't got nothing against Mike Brown. But to me, this is not an upgrade. And it's a lot of pressure on this man right now. A humongous amount. Because anything less than what Tom Thibodeau got y'all is a failure. That's the pressure y'all put on Mike Brown. That's why ain't nobody want to take this job. I gotta win a championship. Otherwise, I'm a bum. Basically. You see? And I told y'all. Y'all don't be wanting to listen to me. I told you last year. What's the expectation? We can get to championship. And the Knicks showed you exactly that I was right. And now here we are again. Like I said, Mike Brown, I feel for you, bro. Good luck. You're going to need it. Good luck. Because if this team struggles at any point, if there's any kind of turmoil, Mike Brown. Who? Mike Brown. That's who. That man. So again, talk about the expectation, coach, for your team, man. Because I already know where I'm at. I was there last year. Where you at, bro?
As far as the team, I get what you're saying. As far as the hire, yeah, am I taking a wait and see approach with Mike Brown? Yeah. Is there the most pressure on Brown? Yeah, there's a lot of pressure on Brown, but I'm sorry. It's more pressure on the players than it is Mike Brown. Alan Hahn even said it. That you guys complained about Tibbs, they made the changes. The players got to end up producing. Bottom line. You can say what you want as far as, Mike Brown and it's unfair and this and that. That's fine. Now, you said something where this is where I know today's day and age of fans, athletes, coaches, I'm sorry, tells me it's a weak mindset. I relish pressure. If I'm a coach, this is an opportunity that I want. I'm not afraid of the pressure. That's what I want. We talk about the greatest, Michael Jordan, right? Even Kobe Bryant. They wanted opportunities like this. They don't run from it. People that want to run from it, and I'm talking about fans included. Y'all, it's too much. Look, I get it. The expectations, it changes. The expectations did change. No one really thought this team was going to go more than past the second round. I'm sorry. So, yeah, when you did do it and you got there, yeah, the expectation is raised. That's the process. That's the elevation. That's step by step in comparison to where we were. Tibbs, I've said it before. I didn't think Tibbs was a championship caliber type of coach. He can get you going in that direction. He can build your culture, but can he get you into the championship? No. Sorry, Mike Brown has at least been there as a head coach. He's also won as an assistant. Now, I'm not saying that he's definitely going to win it. Yes, I'm expecting him to win it. But as far as the most pressure, for me, I love you, Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns. It's on y'all. Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Mitchell Robinson, Deuce McBride. I'll go right down the line. Clarkson, you just came in here. I can't say his name. Gershon. Still, the point is, what's up, Matt? I was just gonna call him
Yabba or something like that.
Yabba, thank you. Somebody said Yabba Dabba Doo to one of the chats. So, but the point I'm making is, it's on the players, because the coaches can put you in. They can give you all the information, but to go out there, the execution is on the players. And those players, some of those players, some wanted Tibbs going. I'm not saying Jalen Brunson wanted Tibbs going. No, he's even said it. You know, he wanted Tibbs here. So I know
who wanted him going, though, Coach.
We know, but the bottom line is, what I'm saying is, it's falling on the players first, because they've been here. They got to the Eastern Conference Finals last year. Mike Brown didn't. Now he's coming in to try and help get you over the hump. It's still on the players. So it's everybody. If you want to really break it down, the pressure is on everybody now. It's on Rose, it's on Brown, it's on the players. Plain and simple. And as a coach, I love stuff like that. You got it.
Hey,
go ahead.
Nah, you said it right, Coach. People, this day and age, they don't really relish that. People avoid pressure. That's why it's so hard for New York to get people to come here and that really want to play here in this market. The pressure is real here. It's real, and it's going to be turned up, for Mike Brown and those players too. And one player in particular, Mikal Bridges, because again, Mikal Bridges was in on that getting rid of Tom Thibodeau. So it's going to be ramped up here. I see y'all in the chat. What's good, Rafi, William, Horton, Matt? What's good with you, man? Appreciate you, bro. Look, it's going to be ramped up, man. It's going to be ramped up in New York, and yeah, they're going to get rid of those. Who going to take the blame? First and foremost, it's going to be that front office, and it's going to be
That's fair.
The coach. Because, yeah, you could trade Karl Anthony Towns, you could trade Mikal Bridges, but it's going to fall back because you gave up assets to get those players and a Leon Rose, and West, whatever, So, look, man, I understand it. I understand it. It's not always, it's not all on Mike Brown, but it's a shadow now, because a lot of people didn't agree with that Tom Thibodeau firing. So now it's a shadow. Now so there is going to be a lot of pressure on Mike Brown, whether it's warranted or not.
That's fair. And I agree with you there. But to me, again, it's on everybody, and don't you know what's going to happen. Players out there playing bad, they're not going to blame Brown per se. They're going to say, Coach, what can you do to help get them? That's what you're going to see. But look what you're saying right now about Mikal Bridges, and a lot of Knicks fans are saying it. So they're not blaming the coach per se for the players' production completely. The coach has a small percentage. I know that I'm realistic to it. I've had discussions with players. Look, I know it's about you guys. My job is to get you guys prepared, give you as much information so that way you can go out there on the field, on the court, on the diamond, and you can make informed, intelligent decisions, and you can take advantage of your skill set.
Yeah, man. But producer Pat on the controls, man. What else you got for us, man?
Just one last thing I want to say because shout out to my man Cave. You know, he had me on his show right before I came on. Y'all tap into the show. Seriously, excellent show where we were talking about the Knicks. He even brought out film on Mike Brown's offense at Sacramento. I'm telling you, I learned a lot of stuff. And you saw what was happening, and I'm sitting there and I'm saying, yo, if he brings this, it's not about JB just coming up dribbling the ball. It's a lot of movement. I'm telling you, I'm just gonna say that. Go tap in after y'all finish with us. Go tap in and watch. I'm telling you, you're gonna see the actual video, and they're talking about it, the back screens, the cuts, the movement. Shout out to Man Cave. You know, go y'all tap in.
Brown runs a Princeton
style
offense,
an up-tempo offense, a lot of movement. Yes, and that was in there. So
that's how they used to run a lot of offenses back in the day. Where it was a lot of motion. So when you have motion, you have baseline screens and cuts. That's when you used to see the old Reggie Miller, you know, John Starks, Michael Jordan. They used to come off those screens. You just hit the quick 3-pointer, the quick jump. Those were in motion offenses back in the day. And Phil Jackson had the triangle.
There's some principles in there too. Yep.
Yeah, which was a combination of motion and like high post offense.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. So, like I said, you that question why
Pippen will get that ball at that high post right there, and they will run those screens and get Jordan and them open.
Yep. So again, tap in after this. It's on the Aboriginal Sports Network. It's on Man Caves. It's on my channel. I'm telling you, wherever it is, it's there, and it was great being a part of it. So you would love it, bro. Just like I do with football, with X's and O's. I'm telling you, you would love it. So,
absolutely.
But again, let's keep going, man. Go ahead, Pat. You got it, man.
But Pat, you know, I know you got some more footage for Mike Brown. Let's take a listen.
It's one of my values is accountability. But not just for players, and even for myself. I expect people to hold me accountable. But at the end of the day, it's about relationships. It's about the trust that I talked about. And once you grow those relationships, then you're going to talk openly about anything that you need to in the direction that you need to go. And so I'm going to be open and honest with them, and I'm sure they're going to be open and honest with me. And like I said, I'm no different.
Yeah. Good shit, Mike Brown. Good shit, man. Accountability. Accountability is definitely something that, especially in this day and age, needs to be talked about. These players have to be held accountable too. Just like Coach said, I'm not letting those guys off the hook at all. You know? Because again, Cat Towns, Jalen Brunson, you know, Mikal Bridges, you know, y'all guys got paid. Y'all get, you know, you getting contracts. And again, you gotta show up. Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart wanted this Villanova Knicks squad. You know, so you getting what you asked for. Now you turn around and you got Cat Towns and Bridges. I guess they didn't form a buddy relationship, and now they wanted the coach out. So now y'all got what y'all wanted. So now it's time to hold y'all accountable. Play some defense. Get some rebounds. Like, come on. Defense was trash last year.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, be accountable. Be accountable. This little dude can't play no defense. Help him out. Cat Towns, you got one dang on rebound in a series. Made no damn sense. Never heard of a 7-footer. That is ridiculous, man. So, yeah, I like the coach coming in off jump saying, look, I don't care who you are. We're going to hold you accountable. And that needs to be from the set because Jalen Brunson, Cat Towns, Bridges, none of them dudes need to be held up here over that coach. That coach needs to have autonomy over those players, and none of them players need to be going upstairs like they be doing saying, I want this coach out of here. I don't like him. I'm tired of NBA players doing that to coaches too. Y'all need to chill with that. I seen it over there with the Nets with Kevin Durant and Harden and all them. Got who you wanted, then he turned out not to be no good. Now you want him fired. So again, kudos to Mike Brown. I'm liking his hire so far, man. But coach, talk to him.
The accountability point is key to everything. And think about what he said. He's going to hold them accountable, but people are going to hold him accountable. Mm-hmm. That's the players, that's management, that's us fans. And that's what you want to hear and want to see. So it's like if he can instill this culture and everybody can hold each other accountable, and as he said, he's going to be held accountable. Think about this. He held the great, God rest his soul, Kobe Bryant accountable during the game. He yanked him out of a game one time because he wasn't doing what he needed. And Kobe even said it. He's like, I needed that. I'm glad he held me accountable. Real players like to be held accountable. Mm-hmm. When you're not doing what you need to do, that's what a coach is there for, to hold you accountable. Now, there's different ways, yes, but you still need to be held accountable. And players, look, coach, we practiced this, but we didn't do this in the game. Why is that? You know what? And hey, look, as coaches, sometimes we get caught up in the heat of the moment and we do forget some stuff. We do forget to run some plays. It's happened. But if a player comes and you talk to them, now if you coming in and you're being belligerent and disrespectful, that's one thing. But if you come in, coach, we said we we're going to do this. Why didn't we do it? That's holding the coach accountable, and that's something that I love. Because that shows me that a player wants to win. They believe in what's going on. And that's key to everything. So you said it best, NYG, accountability, and I'm with that. I'm with that part. So I'm waiting to see how everybody buys in, because that's key to everything. So we'll see.
Yeah, man. Look, Mike Brown. Who? Mike Brown. Mike Brown has to get the most out of this place. This Knicks team, again, if you're able to get to the Eastern Conference Finals, you beat Boston, arguably, who was the best team at that time. The Tatum injury, whatever. You still beat them to get to that point. So the team, roster-wise, is straight. You just need to get more out of these cats, particularly on the on defensive end. That's what I want to see more effort at. Because again, we talk about these big men, Cat Towns, Miles Turner, that wanna sit out at the 3-point line, and don't get in a post. Well, Cat Towns, You got to get physical, man. You got to get rebounds, man. You got to block more shots, man. You know, what are they doing with Mitchell Robinson? I don't know. He seems like a misfit at this point because, again, you were offensively dependent on Cat Towns. Defensively, you dependent on Mitch Robinson. Can I get a player that can do both? Is that too much to ask for? Can I get a two-way player? Back in the NBA, you know what? I forgot who it was. Somebody made this point. I can't think of him. But again, the NBA, you play both sides of the court on every play. You do not get to rest on defense. It ain't the NFL. You ain't the quarterback to get to come out and sit on the sideline while the defense go out there and try to stop the other team from scoring. No, you got to go back, run back, play defense too. That's what I'm talking about. Can I get a player that can do both? You already got Jalen Brunson, another one-way player. Then you got Bridges and Anunoby, who are like mid, kind of on both levels. But you paying these guys a ton of money. You gave them a ton of picks to go get Bridges. That's what I'm talking about. So it's just, you need to get more out of these guys. I feel like it ain't like they ain't capable. Look at this cat. Literally, look at this cat. You can play defense, bro. You can get some more rebounds. These guys can do it. You can do it. Now, with Mitchell Robinson, I'm going to be honest with you. I was a fan of Mitchell Robinson, and, you know, I said the Knicks did need him on the defensive end, but that's before you traded for Karl Anthony Towns. And Coach, you can vouch for me. I said that before you traded for Karl Anthony Towns, when you had Julius Randle on the team. Now with this guy on this team, this guy don't play no dang on defense. It gets scattered, barely get rebounds. So again, you know, I feel like you need somebody that coincides a little more with Karl Anthony Towns' skill set, a little more of a two-way player. That's my opinion, though. But accountability, yeah, Mike Brown. Get some more out of these guys, man. That's what I'm talking about. But, Pat, you got something else for us? Or, Coach, if you want to speak on what I just said, that's cool. But we want to move it along, though.
No, we're good.
I know you got, I think Pat got one more clip for us, so go ahead.
Fast forward to my time with Steve, it's about pace and space. And that's where the game is. And like I said, if you can't evolve, you're going to get left behind. And so I feel like I'm trying to do that. And hopefully we'll be able to bring some of that here.
So, again, evolving, you know, especially on the offensive end. And the NBA is evolving. But as it evolves, it kind of comes back into the same place it was before. You know, now you're seeing more team-oriented concepts. Guys that, like I said, can play both ways, two-way players, you know. And you also got, you know, these wings that have length and that have size and can also shoot But again, you gotta get cats that can play on both ends of the court. And I'm gonna keep saying that because until the Knicks get better on defense, they're not winning a championship. So yeah, they do need to evolve this offense. This offense don't need to be, Jalen Brunson or bust, or some weird Karl Anthony Towns post up play or something. I mean, like, yeah, he needs to get in the post, but you got to be good in the post too. I'm liking what Mike Brown is saying, but I feel like despite you say you lose Tom Thibodeau, the defensive guy, yeah, but they still need to keep the mentality of, hey, y'all got to get better on defense. Even though the coach that was supposed to get you better on defense ain't going to be there, it's not like Mike Brown can't coach defense either. So, he's a good coach. They just got to get the most out these players, coach, man. That's it, man. That's what I'm seeing right now. But yeah, he talked about evolving. Is there an area, or what do you see when you hear? What do you see when you hear that, coach? Evolving it. I mean, do they need to evolve on offense? Yeah, I think so. But go into that a little bit. Because this is your team. You follow them on a day-to-day basis. I tap in and out. I'm more. I'm a Nets fan. But talk to him.
Evolution is that's just growth. That's anything in life. Mm-hmm. So yeah, they have to evolve. I mean, they have to grow together. You said yes, they have to get better on defense. Yes, they do. But what schemes are you going to implement? That's the key. And here's the biggest evolution. As Knicks fans, we complained about with Thibodeau. He shortens his rotation. Well, we're not looking for that. We're looking that. Why do you think Clarkson and Yabusele was brought in here to add to the guys that are already here? So now you can lengthen your rotation. You have to develop the young guys. Tibbs, for everything, people say, yeah, he'll play some young guys sometimes. Yeah, he does on occasion. But realistically, he doesn't play them. And I question that, because that's about you developing the young players. Why are you not? If you don't trust them, then that means that part of that is your scouting, because that means you didn't do a good job in scouting them. That also means that you and your staff has not done a good job in developing those players. Those players are there for a reason. They have some type of skills. So you should not be running damn near 90% of your season with a 7-man rotation. On occasion, you may go to 8 or 9 on occasion, but for the most part, it's 7. Mm-hmm. No, you should have been doing this from the day one, working this in, You look at a lot of these teams nowadays, they're relying on their reserves. Sometimes you take out the full 5 starters and put in 5 reserves, and they're still doing the same thing. That's the evolution. That's, for me, that's one of the things that I'm looking to see from this organization. Does Mike Brown do that? Yes, he runs the Princeton offense. He has some skills that he's able to do in terms of running defense. He's one coach of the year, in a sense, playing both ways, as a defensive-minded coach, as an offensive-minded coach. Mm-hmm. So that shows me that he's capable of doing both. So now, can you, like you said, NYG, doing it on both ends? Well, you have the coach who's produced and shown he can do it, coach at both ends. So now identify, and look, I'm not saying Jalen Brunson is an on-ball defender. That's not what I'm expecting. But do you put him in positions to play the passing lane, to get deflections, to help in that regard? So you take away the offense from saying, okay, now we can attack him. yes. What do you do? And, teams are going to switch.
Got to play zone when Brunson's out there, coach.
Not primarily, but you got to mix it up.
You can't. I mean, not on every play, but
yes, on occasion, yes.
You gotta protect him with the zone, because you can't have guards ISO on that dude, man. You're gonna
on occasion, yes, you play zone, so you show the defense there's something else. But the zone will also get you killed sometimes, especially from the 3-point.
But Brunson, when you on that side, be mindful of having a weak side to see. That's where Cat Towns needs to get better.
But yes.
You see what I'm saying? You got to protect Brunson's weak side defender.
I don't disagree with you, but what I'm saying is you also put Brunson in positions where, he's not getting ISO'd all the time. Sometimes you're gonna switch. Sometimes you got to fight through the screen. Sometimes you got to go under the screen, depending on who the player is. So that's what I mean. It's putting players in position to be successful. That's really ultimately, because it was always about switching, and that's what teams knew. You know what? Yeah. They're always going to switch. So now you don't know. Sometimes he's going to fight he's going to fight over the screen. Sometimes he's going to go under the screen. Sometimes they're going to switch. Sometimes the big or whoever is going to hedge out a little bit and get back, so you give him enough time to get over. There's different ways of playing defense that help him, and also Cat Town. But Tibbs didn't do that. That's the thing that bothers me about Tibbs.
I think we said it. He didn't evolve, and I think that's what ultimately got him fired. But man, I think we ready for Coach's Corner, man. I think we are ready for Coach's Corner, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and cue up the intro, man. And then we got my man Big Pat on the controls, mixing it up, man. So we're gonna give y'all this dope episode of Coach's Corner, man, brought to you by the Aboriginal Sports Network and KMP Productions. So let's get into Coach's Corner, man. Can't wait for this one, man. Let's get it.
All right. Right now, I really appreciate that. Thank you for tapping in for another Coach's Corner. Got a lot to talk about. And we're going to start with the New York Liberty. The one thing I want to do is congratulate Coach Sandy Brondello. She moved to second in the franchise in wins. She just secured her 93rd win. So that speaks volumes to what she has done and what she has brought to this organization. So, congratulations to her. She's a winning coach, as you've seen. Last year won her second championship. So kudos to her. And she's going to continue to move up the list as we go along. You know what? Eventually, I see her going to be winning the most games in New York Liberty franchise history. So now, with that, we're going to move on to the last game the Liberty played. They played against the Las Vegas Aces. The Aces has always been a nemesis to the Liberty. And yesterday, they played the Aces. Tough game. They were down for a while, but in the second half, they exploded and worked hard to come away with the win. They won 87-76 to move to 13-6 on the season. So that helped them move up in terms of the standings, because there's been a little fluctuation with that. So again, the record and yesterday's game, was a tough one. Aces actually lost Aja Wilson, who went down with an injury, but the Liberty fought and came away with the win. So now, right now, they're sitting in terms of the standing. They're sitting in the third spot in the league. So expectation is they needed to be in the second or fighting for the first, but right now there's a lot going on, injuries, especially with Jonquel Jones, one of the key players for the Liberty, not being there, and it has hurt them. So, but right now they're in the third spot. So hopefully they can continue to fight through and until Jonquel gets back. And in that way, they can make a strong push going into the last half of the season. Like I said, right now they're currently playing the third game of an 8-game homestand. So, and that's unheard of, playing 8 games at home. So Sunday they're going to be playing the Atlanta Dreams 3:00 to hopefully avenge their last loss to Atlanta. So that was a tough one. So, but that's going to be it with the Liberty. We're going to go ahead and move on to Syracuse in reference to a little bit that's going on with the Syracuse Orange. Now, with Syracuse, they just got a major commitment. 5-star wide receiver Calvin Russell committed to them over some other big players within across the country. So Syracuse keeps doing a good job of securing the talent to help get that program back to the national prominence that they were years ago. So, but kudos to them, Calvin Russell. Everything that I'm looking at, I've looked at a little bit of film of him. He's a player, and if they continue to develop him, he's going to be someone that you guys want to keep an eye on down the road. So I was impressed about some of his highlights that I saw in the recruiting circuit. So now, on another side, they did lose a player to the transfer portal. Edge rusher King Joseph Edwards decided to enter the portal. Now, he was their top recruit last year. So he's going to have 4 years left wherever he goes. He basically read this year, but he decided to move on from playing in Syracuse. Best of luck. But sometimes it's just not meant to be. Playing in certain programs. So, but Syracuse keeps doing well to replenish their program. Right now, they are actually sitting at number 22 in terms of recruiting ranks. I mean, you're talking about schools like Alabama. You're talking about USC, Oregon, schools like this, Ohio State, and they're sitting at number 22 in the country. So that's a big thing for Syracuse right now to be sitting at number 22. So very impressed with what they're doing at Syracuse. Definitely something that makes the New York tri-state area, and I know they're a little bit upstate, but they're still part of this tri-state area. Definitely making us proud, especially with what head coach Fran Brown is doing up there in terms of building a tough program that's going to go ahead and compete across the board. So, but that's all I have right now for Syracuse. And we're going to go ahead and move on to Rutgers athletic news. So right now, Rutgers, they will have an interim athletic director, and he decided to move on from Rutgers. He's going to be taking an AD job at Tufts University in Massachusetts. Now, the message board circuit, was starting to get a little worried, saying you're losing your interim athletic director. But a lot of the media reporters have said, don't worry about that, because that's basically letting you know that there's going to be an AD announced somewhere down the road. Now, I'm personally expecting it to be announced hopefully next week. So I'll be keeping an eye on that as we go forward. So, but good luck to him moving forward. Ryan, I'm going to mess up his name, Passari. Wish him nothing but the best of luck as he moves on to Tufts University. So now I'm going to move on to Rutgers men's basketball. And I got to start with, what's been going on. And I'm going to talk about Ace Bailey. People have been killing him, prior to Summer League. Now, he just played in 2 Summer League games. The first game, he actually, against the Sixers, he had 8.7 rebounds and a block, an amazing block that he blocked right off of the into the backboard and off because the offensive player beat a player. So he recovered to help block that. The second summer game, he actually improved. He went for 18.7 rebounds and 3 assists on 7 of 14 shooting. So his scoring ability was a key contributor, in the game. He didn't disappoint from deep. He went 3 of 5 from 3-point range. So he showed that he has the full range. Things that I have been talking about this kid from the get-go. Yes, I know I'm a Rutgers homer, but he showed you that he can produce in this game. And Utah, I'm telling you right now, continue to expect that going forward. And everybody who's been hating on him for whatever reason, you're going to be sad. You're going to be coming back and singing another tune because the kid can play. On a separate note, Dylan Harper, he hasn't played in the summer league. He's been held out right now for injury. So now moving on to the Rutgers men's basketball team, they just announced their roster. That's what most of us have been waiting to see. Players also got their jersey numbers. So, it's been an important thing on the Rutgers circuit in reference to what's going on with the roster, especially after losing 2 high-ranked recruits, and losing a lot of players from last year. You only brought back 4 players from last year, but you had Tariq Francis, who's going to be wearing number 0, JaMychal Davis, who's wearing number 1, Lino Mark, who's wearing number 2, Caden Powers, one of their top recruits, is wearing number 3. Bryce Dortch, one of the returning players from last year, is wearing number 4. Darren Buchanan Jr., another top recruit, is wearing number 5. Dylan Grant is 6. Chris Newuli is 11. Haran Zarno, international player, is 13. Fivante Ware is 15. Emmanuel Obagli is 21, returning player. Max Freidkin is 24. Dennis Batsulu is 27, and Bayfall is 32. So good luck to those guys. We're going to be rooting hard for you guys to bring back that pride, play hard defense, tough defense like Rutgers has always been known to. Rutgers also announced their 11 out-of-conference opponents. I've mentioned before they have 20 Big Ten games, but now their out-of-conference has been announced. They have playing November 5th, they're going to be playing home to Rider. November 10th, home to Maine. 14th, home to Lehigh. 18th to American. November 21st to Central Connecticut State. Those are all home games. Then they're going to be playing on the road in a neutral site. November 24th against Tennessee in Las Vegas. The 25th against Notre Dame, also in Las Vegas. And then whoever, based on games who wins or losses, they're going to get a third game on the 26th. So December 20th, they're also going to take on University of Pennsylvania, and the 29th, they're going to take on Delaware State. And the big rivalry is to be determined is against Seton Hall. That's the Garden State game that they always play for bragging rights within New Jersey. So that's going to close it out for basketball. I'm going to move on to football. So pretty excited about that because football season is right around the corner. Training camp is going to be starting next month in August, and Rutgers is going to be starting out the Thursday, last Thursday in the season. In August to take on, I believe it's Ohio. I'm gonna double check that. But On3 did a ranking of the Big Ten quarterbacks, and quarterback Ethan Kaliakmanis came in ranked at number 12 in their rankings, based on a report from Sporting News. The report said they found one area where Kaliakmanis needs to improve in 2025, and that's connecting with receivers at a higher clip. Taking care of the ball is already something that he already does. He had just one interception for Rutgers in his last 4 games, but he will need to improve on a 53.9% completion percentage for the Scarlet Knights to move up in the pecking order. So that's a key factor. Kaliakmanis came in, knows the system. He showed that he was more than capable to play quarterback, and a lot of fans, and myself included, are happy with it. But yeah, we're needing to see him to step up his game and complete a lot more passes with his receivers. So now I talked about a little bit about Syracuse in their rankings. Rutgers is actually 29th in terms of their recruiting rankings. So now I'm going to talk about a little bit about the ticket offers. Anybody who's looking to go see Rutgers, Rutgers has this little special plan, ticket special, where they have a grouping of 3 sets of games, 3 games, then 2 games, and then 2 games. And you have to basically take 1 game out of each section, and you get the 3 tickets for as low as $120. And that's a good deal. If you go to SHI Stadium, you're going to be able to see the field great. Your view of the field is going to be great. You're not going to be run into a situation where you're going to be looking from behind a pole or anything. I've been there plenty of times, sat all over the stadium. It's always a great view. So that's one of the things anybody who's interested in checking out a Rutgers game. And the last thing I want to talk about is CBS Sports did a release, and in that release, they talked about the worst college football head coaches hires since 2000. Former head coach Chris Ash was actually ranked at number 21. And that speaks volumes to, but if you've been following Rutgers now, you'll see the difference, because at that point in time, it was an atrocity. It really was. So I think his ranking, personally, as biased, I think he should have been at number 1. He's the worst hire ever, during that time frame. But that's me. Who am I? What do I know? So, but that's going to be it right now for Coach's Corner tonight. I thank everybody for tapping in and rocking with me. I really appreciate you all. So thanks again. And back to you, NYG.
I don't know, man. Can I get in on that Rutgers ticket deal? Like, you know what I'm saying? Hey, I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Like
$120 for 3 tickets.
3 games, yeah, that ain't bad, bro.
And you get the choice. I think one of them is, let me double check, because let me pull it back up to see. I think one of them is Oregon. Yeah, you get the first 3, which is Ohio, Miami, Ohio, and Norfolk State. Those are the first 3. You choose one of those.
What I'm saying? Norfolk State, right here at the crib. Shout out to Norfolk State.
That's Michael Vick. That's Michael Vick leading. The next group you have Iowa and Maryland to choose from. So again, you get 1 from Group A, 1 from Group E, and the last one is Oregon and Penn State. So you take one of those. And I'm telling you, man, to get that, if you say Norfolk State, Iowa, and say Oregon, and you're paying $120, man.
Appreciate you tapping in, Nick. Thank you, man.
What's up, Nick? So that's why I have been like, oh man, I'm like, but
I'm just saying. And Ace Bailey, man. Ace.
I mean, I'm probably gonna do, but
yeah, man. Ace Bailey. Look, that kid gonna be nice, son. I'm telling you. And look, these athletes, they different, and they may not be as, media savvy, or they may not do the things that you necessarily want them to do, or take, they're gonna take a different type of approach, because the world is changing. So I'm not mad at the kid for not wanting to go to Utah, but hey, he's doing what he's supposed to do. He showed up and he's balling out, man. And that, I'm telling you,
that's sharp, man.
And that kid, Isaiah Collier, I said this last year. I said I talked about this coach. I made a video about this. That kid I told people that kid gonna be nice. And now him with Ace, watch out for Utah in the future.
Yes, exactly.
Year, but in the future, they're gonna be a decent team.
Nick, to answer your question about Ed Cole, I mean, I was very impressed with the kid. I watched him against Utah. I mean, total control, smooth, plays very good defense, very efficient, and attacks the lane with a great aggressiveness, man. But again, there's some things he has to work on, but I think he's going to fit in nicely with Philly and what they're doing, and what they have going on in the future. You have McCain, and then you have what's his name in the starting line. I mean, it's Philly. Everybody comes and they play, and they don't have any major injuries. Philly's not a team you can walk over, man. I'm just gonna leave it right there.
Yeah, it's all on that Embiid character. So, if he can stay out there, him and Paul George, I mean, yeah, they'll be decent. That's a team you can't sleep on because they got talent. It's the question of A, can they stay on the court? And then B, how is that talent going to merge together as in, the chemistry issue? So those are the two questions that I got with Philly. But as far as their talent, you can't argue with that. Look, I'm a basketball guy, so Joel Embiid is, when healthy, he's definitely a top 10 player in the NBA. I'm just saying, definitely. So, you got one of those guys, Paul George is on the decline, but Tyrese Maxey is on the up and come. So you got somebody on the come up,
McCain,
as in
yep.
Right. And
if
you got these young guys.
Yep.
Right. So again, you got something cooking in the pot. You just got to mix it all together and let it and hope it come out
out of the stew. So
yeah, right. Take the bones out of the stew. Exactly. That's a good analogy, man. But yeah, we're gonna wrap it up, man. This was a dope episode. Shout out to Mr. Producer, Big Pat, in the background, man. Putting all this together for us, allowing
there you go, the bro.
Allowing me and Coach to do our thing and give you this great show, man. But we'll be back next week, man, for more Heart of the City. Stay tuned right here on the Aboriginal Sports Network. Appreciate each and every one of y'all for tuning in. And y'all already know what it is. Into the next go around. We about this joint. Holla. Peace.